Good evening. Here we are, Tuesday night. Screen says I'm live. Hopefully I'm live. How is everyone? Yeah, Tavo, greetings from the West Island. Beagle Bob, greetings from the right side up bit of the world. Greetings indeed. Chris Freemesser. So how's it all going, guys? What's been happening? No, I've been busy. So yeah. Anyway. Paul Funk, thank you, sir. Reminding everyone to hit the like button, smash the like button. That would be cool. It certainly helps. Roy Miller, welcome along. Josh Homan, good to see you as always. Old timers here in the house. Very cool. So, what's new, guys? What's new? What's been happening on your side of the computer screen? Steve Sadusky, hey man, welcome along. What's in the tumbler? Applejack tonight. I was scrambling to kind of log in time, so I just grabbed the nearest bottle, which was Applejack. So yeah. Beagle Bob, got a glass of Russell Reserve 10 tonight. Very nice. Very nice. Good for you, man. Good for you. Timer just dropped 85k on another piece of logging iron. That must be a fairly serious piece of logging iron. Wow. Very cool. Tavo cheap scotch here. Well, you know, Tavo, yeah. What's that acronym for again? I think I remember. Steve Sadusky, is it true Kev gave up drinking? No, I think that's a vicious rumor. I really do. Poor fun cheap beer for me. Oh, there you go. Chris Freemasson, the awesome Vallionator. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Tavo, the tight-ass Vallionator. Yeah. No, what do we got here? Old timer. I'm sipping Jefferson's Reserve. Very old bourbon. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, that's good. We're doing our bit for bourbon consumption, so that's all very good. I actually went down to Jack Daniel's. Did a tour there on Sunday. My sister's over from New Zealand visiting, so we took them to show them how it all works down at Jack Daniel's. It's a pretty good trip, actually. It's well worth going. Tavo can't drink good stuff at 10:30 a.m. It's a little early, isn't it? It really is. Steve Sadusky tipping the beers tonight. Here we got here, Mark Coronet guy. Hello, Kiwi and crew from Washington State. Well, welcome to the room. Old timer, the iron is a 2016 Caterpillar 521B Fella Buncher. Okay. Yeah. Fortunately, it doesn't mean a lot to me, but I'm guessing it's used for felling and bunching up trees. See, I'm pretty clever, you know. Chris Freeman, Tavo, as long as it's 8 p.m. somewhere, it's fine to have refreshment. Well, there you go. Old timer, £70,000. Wow. Oh, D7. Okay, now that I'm a little more. Well, I know what it is. Shouldn't really say I'm familiar with it, but I know what it is. Yeah. Oh, righty. Well, let's see. What have I been up to? Just kind of tidying up loose ends, really. Been just kind of got a couple of little jobs in the shop and kind of working through those. Haven't not been doing very well on videos. I haven't put a video out for like a week and a half, and I've got a couple of the cars there that I've got to get videos done on that are pretty well, that are wrapped up. I've just got to actually shoot the video or finish shooting the video and get them published. So there will be something coming in with a bit of luck tomorrow. I should have another video out. If not, definitely Thursday. Stephen Carter, 1442. Hey gang in Kiwi, welcome along. Old timer, wish I could afford a car as a toy, but not right now. Yeah, it's just not always practical, is it? Right? You've got to make some money, which obviousyou that 521 will do, in order to pay for the toys, don't you? Stephen Bakey Bird, hey man, how you doing? Chris Freemus, a customer car slowing down as winter approaches. No, it doesn't really. The phone's possibly not been going quite as hard, but no, not really slowing down. Steve Sadusky, I'm going through withdrawals. Kiwi video. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just been busy. Hadn't we were tearing around all weekend with my sister. It's her first time over visiting me, and she's been to the States before, but it was like 40 years ago. So she's busy soaking it all in, her and her husband. So and we've been running them around the place. So it's been good, actually. It's been great to catch up. But it makes it busy at work, busy at home. Like trying to get videos done has just been a little challenging. But we got a good one coming on a 64 F100 truck. Got a nice Cougar doing a bunch of stuff too, a bunch of little stuff. So that's probably going to be split into a couple of different videos. And going to do that video on the resistor wire. This Cougar's got the same thing, just yet another one with the resistor wire still in place. And so I've got to rip that out. So I'm going to do a video on just kind of where it is, what it looks like, and how to do it. So that's another one coming. But yeah, just got to get Steve behind the camera and get it happening. So right, what else we got here? Mark Coronet, a rare nice day here today. Took the 68 Barracuda out for a last ride before weather change. Yeah. Yes, it's definitely cooling off. It's a little chilly in the mornings now. Beagle Bob, is Old Blue going to stay blue? I haven't been keeping up with YouTube. Well, I haven't done much on YouTube, so you really haven't missed anything on Old Blue. I've got to do something with the paint on it, and there's probably a reasonable chance it will go flat black as kind of a short-term sort of fix. Because at the moment it's blue and black, and it kind of doesn't look great. So yeah, we're probably just gonna like DA the hell out of it and just flat black it, just to make it one color, and just in a matte black epoxy or something like that, epoxy primer, and call it good for winter probably. Old timer, been seeing more and more classic cars on marketplace and the prices are dropping. Interesting, really? Okay. I just had a look, and there's a video coming out about that soon as well. Just looked at 5 cars that the guy's trying to sell, and we just went up there to have a look and see what they really needed. He's inherited them from his father-in-law and didn't really know what they need, that kind of thing. So me and Steve cruised over there and kind of went through it all. A couple of Corvettes, an Olds 442, a clone, a Lincoln Continental, like a 72 Mark IV, which I think is really cool. And if I can get my hands on it, I'm going to try, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see. There might be more to come from that story because he's pushing to get them sold. So, car is an SS Chevelle 70 SS Chevelle 454 4-speed. So that may have got your attention, but it is allegedly an LS6. So they're all coming on the market. Yeah. So I've been doing a bit of research on the numbers, and yeah, it looks like it could well be an LS6. Beagle Bob, they chose good weather for a trip. Yeah, they did. Not too hot, not too cold. It's been nice. Morganizer T, Kiora from BAM. BAM. Okay, what's that short for? BAM. Trying to think. Truth. Okay. Oh, goodness. Steve Sadusky, old timer. What area on Marketplace? My area is still strong and pricey. Yeah, I tend to look at the old kind of project cars on Marketplace, but Mark Coronet guy, Morganizer T from BAM, Washington? No. Well, with Kiora, he's got to be a Kiwi. Steve Sadusky, I see G-Body's bringing strong coin right now. Okay, interesting. Oh, Birmingham, Alabama. Ah, BAM. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, when you see Kiora, I'm thinking he's a Kiwi, but no, I lose track a little bit of the names. I'll be honest with you guys. It's just in my memory fails me as to just where you guys are from. So, old timer, I've seen several cars that made me immediately think of you, Kiwi. Cars that I know you could doll up easy and do well with. Okay. Yeah, well, I must admit that's crossing my mind on these 5 cars that I went to look at the other day. Yeah, it's crossing my mind, but because it would be nice to get. I'd really like that Lincoln Continental, the big white with a white vinyl top. The mattress top seats in it, and just 20 feet long, and just a big pimping cruiser. I just think it'd be fun to have for a little while. Just a cruise, take it to work and back, take a few cars and coffees, and just have a little giggle at the sheer excess of it, with its 10-foot long hood. Beagle Bob Bahamas. Yeah, BAM could be, yeah. Paul Funk, Patrick Glenn Nichols is a 70s Chevelle expert who has a YouTube channel. Interesting. Okay. It's possibly someone I should reach out to if the situation develops any. It is allegedly I guess it depends whose opinion it is, but supposedly the 70 Chevelle LS6 is Chevy muscle cars. And some would say the holy grail of all muscle cars, but that'll just start an argument. Morganizer, but yes, I'm a Kiwi. Okay, I had a feeling you were. Yeah. Okay, but Kiwi living in Birmingham. Okay, cool. Old timer. Those big Lincoln cars can hold 5 or 6 fat girls, and that's in the trunk. Oh, Freemason beat me to it. Okay, next line down. Oh dear. Stephen Bakerfield. Nichols is from Clarksville. Okay. Well, it's not far away. Clarksville, Tennessee. Poor fucking that's in the trunk. Great minds think alike, don't they, guys? I mean, yeah, that's 3 of us. 5 big girls in the trunk. Old timer, actually, yeah, he might be more onto it than we are. Like trunk is for beer, whiskey, and guns. There you go. Oh well, I might just reach out to him and see if he's got any tips for doing a definite ID on this thing. No, Barracuda, 12 thin girls. Yeah, welcome along, Barracuda. Good to have you here. What's happening over in NZ, Barracuda? Okay, it's gone quiet though. What else we going on at the shop? I've got a one of those Jeep, not a Jeep. What were they? What are they called? It's a Jeep pickup truck. The other name eludes me, but it's like about a 70, 71, 72, something like that. Jeep pickup truck. Kind of looks like the old, a little bit. The front looks a bit like the old Wagoneers, but they built them as a pickup truck. So got that in there, getting that running right. That's running good again. So that one's not sure if I'll do a video on that. Don't know. It's not kind of really my. Yeah, it's a 4x4, but it is a 360 3-speed manual. So Comanche, that's the one, Mr. Freemesser. Yes, you reached in and took the word out of my brain that I could not locate. But yeah, very good. Yeah, Paul Funk. Patrick has saved some people money because of the clones being presented as real. Yes, that's the kind of the line I've been had told to me is they're one of the most sought after muscle cars and they're one of the most cloned muscle cars. So yeah, you got to be a little careful. There we go here. Beer in the trunk. How are you going to drink it from the driver's seat? Oh Lord. Beagle Bob Comanche. Yep. So would you guys like to see a video on a Comanche? It's kind of not really a muscle car. It's more of a 4x4. But yeah, it is a kind of 360. And yeah, it's 3-speed on the floor. So it's a little different. Yeah. Mark Coronet, Patrick Lennis is Chevelle Guru if you need a question answered or a car endorsement for the registry. Okay. Old timer. I want a 68 to 70 Chrysler 300, 2 doors with the 440. That'd be a cool car. Yep, I can see why you'd like that. Old timer, Beagle Bob, the big girl on the door gets those for me. Yeah. Chris Freeman, sure, Comanches aren't common. Okay. Comanche is good. Stephen Bakey Bird. Josh Homan, if you have one, go ahead. Yeah, well, I mean, it's sitting there in the shop. We're just waiting for an alternator coming in. Yeah, so you're going to be busy tomorrow filming, I think. I've got about 3 cars sat there ready to go home. So, yeah. Beagle Bob. Some folks think Jeeps are sports cars. I can't imagine who you're talking about, Bob. I'm really not sure. Barracuda, missed your show last week. I was donating a kidney. The police want to know where you got it from. There you go. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Hansabar, so are Volvos. Okay. What? So Volvos are sports cars? Is that what you mean? Volvo's made some cool little sports cars. P1800s. I like a P1800. They're cool. I'd like one of those with a like a V8 swap of some description in it, or maybe the later model turbo 5-cylinder turbo Volvo. I think they made a 5-cylinder, didn't they? I think. But I really would like that Continental. But we'll see. If you see that pop up in a thumbnail, that probably means I bought it. So, yeah. But we're a little ways apart money-wise, so we'll see. Chris Freeman said, yeah, Volvo made a 5-cylinder turbo. I thought they did, and then I second guessed myself and thought, well, I know Audi made a 5-cylinder turbo. Best sounding rally car they ever produced. But I had a feeling Volvo did as well. Hansabar, yeah, you can drive the hell out of them and not hurt them, not feel bad about them. Right, no, fair enough. Tavo, yes, Volvo did 5 cylinders. I think one of those in a P1800 Volvo would be awesome, hang a big ass intercooler out the front of it somewhere. And yeah, get that boost up and then go like hell. Old timer, I know where there's one of those old sporty looking Volvos sitting in a barn, has rear fender wings. Yeah, they do. They do. They are quite a unique looking car, but good looking car nonetheless. Irkost, hey man, welcome along. Good to see you here, Kiwi. Hugs and kisses from Torrance. Okay. Oh, very good. Very good. Well, good to have you here, man. How's it all been going out there in sunny Torrance? How's that Corvair going? You got it. Like, is it 100% yet or what? Where you at? You're still working on it. Tavo, Ford Ranger in Oz has a 5-cylinder. Okay. Is that a Ford engine, the 5-cylinder? I know Chevy have got a straight an inline 5-cylinder, but can't say I'm familiar with the 5-cylinder Ford engine. Old timer, they're cool looking. I always wondered if a 289 would fit. I think it would. Yes, I believe it would. With a little bit of a little nip and a little tuck and a little, squeeze in here and there, I'm sure it would. And I have actually seen a picture of one of those things set up as a, a drag racer back in the look to be like 70s probably. One of those. Oh, what are they? What? God, my brain. The lift of the beam front axle and lift it up high. Used to see old Mercury Comets done that way and all sorts of stuff like that. And old Falcons and stuff like Gasser. God. Yeah, you can tell I was up early this morning. I had to drop Mrs. K at the airport this morning, and so I got unceremoniously kicked out of bed at about 5 a.m. After a long, hard weekend. And yeah, it's catching up. I got to tell you, the brain's on about 50% capacity at the moment. So bear with me. Tony Janiso, welcome along, bud. How you doing? Irkos, all good here. Corvair runs great. Body rough. Wife and 16-year-old twin girls keeping me busy. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of estrogen in the house. Goodness me. Yeah, you're a little outnumbered there, brother. Tavo, 5-cylinder turbo diesel. Okay. Stretch version of the Transit / Puma engine. There you go. 3.2 litre. Old timer gases. Yeah, that was the word I did find it all by myself, so I'm kind of quite quite happy about that. At least, it might be working slow, but the brain's still working. Irkos, dude near me has lovely Edsel I want. Okay, what model Edsel? Tell me more. I like them too. I just think they're cool because they're so unique, and everybody hated them. And that just makes them, I don't know, for me, that just makes them cooler. Kind of like the ugly Mopars of the late 50s. Like some of those ones were, just so ugly, they were gorgeous, which makes no sense at all. But, what you going to do? They're not, some of those, late 50s Mopars were not pretty, but they're just cool. No, it's definitely by the wife. Yes, Mrs. K. Yes. No timer. More Applejack will fix you right up, Kiwi. Yes, quite possibly. But yeah, if you hear like snoring coming across your screen, that could well be why. Oh, nice. Urkos, 59 Corsair, turquoise and white. Mate, that's lovely. Those turquoise colours back then were awesome. Yeah, that turquoisey kind of 50s colour is quite possibly what Marge is going to end up painted in. Tavo, that's what I say about the Leyland P76. So ugly is beautiful. Exactly. There you go. Yeah. One thing about a P76 Leyland, you go to a car show, you're going to get lots of attention. Yeah, that's you know that's why a lot of us take cars to the car show, is to just shoot the shit with strangers and talk cars and show off your wheels. So yeah, I'd have a P76 in a heartbeat. I really would. Yeah, but be cool to get one of those little handful of two-door ones they made. What did they make? Like six two-door Leyland P76s. So. And the Leyland, for those of you that don't know, the Leyland P76 had a 4.4 litre V8, which was the Range Rover V8, which was the Rover 3.5 V8, which was the Buick 225 aluminum V8. So yeah, it had a lot of different formats, that motor, and it did end up in the Leyland P76. So it was kind of quite edgy for its time. All aluminum V8, and I think they were all aluminum, or did they have cast iron heads? One of those cars around that era was kind of odd. It had, aluminum block and cast iron heads. I'm not sure that it was the P76. I don't think it was. I think they were all aluminum. But Tava's going to tell me, I'm sure. Old time, late 50s cars had 175 pounds of chrome on the front. Well, yes, exactly. Applejacks and Applejack. Now that would be a potent brick. Yes, very true. And that made me. I went, huh? What? And then I remembered the cereal Applejack. Yes, that would be a potent. Yeah, that'd be the breakfast of champions, wouldn't it? Very good. Clean your glasses, Tavo. Oh, Barracuda, you're not a P76 fan, mate. Really? In on me because I leaned back. Now, Tavo sold my. You just moved. Tavo sold my P76 for $250. Ow! In 2004. Then by the end of 2005, they were commanding a few thousand. Ooh, running and registered. Wow. Yeah, you must be kicking yourself over that one, mate. Still. Tavo. No, P76 V8 was all alloy. The 6 was all cast iron and weighed the same. Yeah, I bet it did. Organizer. The P76 somehow took styling cues from the Austin Princess. Now, that was a car only a mother could love. Oh. So for the American viewers, yeah, treat yourself and Google Austin Princess. And there was nothing, the whole, like princess makes you think of something kind of gorgeous and beautiful, and, the beautiful princess. Yeah, no. No. The Princess was just an ugly disaster of a car. I remember they first came out. I was working at a Leyland dealership, and they had a lot of them break windows, just driving around the place. The bodies flexed so much, they would actually shatter the back windows. And it was that zone toughened glass that, went into a million pieces. And it's quite a big back window on those because they got a weird shape on the back of them. So they're a big back window, and they would shatter. You get a bit of a flex on, and boom. Just an awful car. They'd be very hard to find now, I imagine, a Princess, which is actually a good thing. But Urkost, I'm here late at the office, but I'm going to join you boys with some bourbon and coke. Good for you, man. It's awesome. Oh, Tavo, Tavo, what a question. Which would you have, Kiwi, Austin Princess or Allegro? Well, I tell you what, I'm going to go with Allegro because I don't know what you may have seen it, but on YouTube, there's a company in England that have hot rodded an Austin Allegro, and they put like carbon fiber, big extended fenders on them. A bunch of carbon fiber bits they've made for it, and shit, I can't remember what sort of engine. But like it's a little rocket ship, and the body kit treatment they've done on it actually kind of looks okay. It's an Allegro still, but it actually looks sporty. Like it looks like muscly. Not a muscle car, but look, it's got some attitude. And yeah, it's actually to a point where it's like, okay, I could drive that. That would be a bit of fun. Yeah. Chris Freemasson looking up the Austin Princess out my eyes. Oh dear. Yeah, they're not pretty. Tavo. We didn't get either across the ditch. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay. Allegro had square steering wheel. Okay, I didn't remember that. Okay, cool. Like some of those old, like that Imperial that I had at the shop a while ago, that had that kind of rectangular steering wheel. Beagle Bob, Princess looks good, like a 30s American car. Oh, okay, no, that's the wrong Princess. That's the wrong Princess. They made some Princesses like in the 60s, and the one that Tava and I are talking about, that was the 70s car. What year would they built, Tava? Because Beagle, the Princess I'm talking about, me and Tava are talking about, does look nothing like a 30s American car, but some of the earlier ones did. So I get what you're saying. See if you can find a 70s Austin Princess. Chris Freemasson, I remember Jeremy Clarkson doing a segment about the Allegro being one of the worst British cars ever made. It was right there. It was right there. On the short list for sure. They tried to keep a very old idea going, and to be fair, the old idea was quite a good idea. That front wheel drive little car with lots of room inside it, but the world had moved on, and it had become a very problematic system. The engine and trans setup they had, and they just needed to retire it like 10 years earlier, but they didn't. Paul Funk, there was a late 50s Mopar that had a square steering wheel. Yeah, so I was saying that 50, was it a 59 or a 60 Chrysler Imperial that I did a video on, I don't know, 6 months ago. But yeah, that had a very rectangular wheel. I wouldn't have called it square, but it was quite rectangular. And it was funny, as you turned, your hand I was missing where my brain was telling me a circular wheel was going to be, and I was grabbing for it and just miscuing slightly. It was fine to drive down the straight line, just cruising the straight line. But when you were backing up and trying to 3-point turn it in the car park, I kept miscuing on the wheel. It was quite odd. I'm sure you get used to it pretty quickly, but yeah, it was, your brain is so tuned to a round steering wheel. I mean, really, 99.9% of cars have a round steering wheel. Tavo, yes, very much like the Imperial wheel, but not as good. Okay. Very much like the Imperial wheel, yeah. Tavo, it allegedly replaced the Land Crab, the old Austin 1100s and 1300s and stuff. So, yeah, about 70, 71. Yeah, well, it would have been definitely 70s. Stray Bullets here too. Hey, man. Morganizer, 75 to 78. Okay. A 3-year run. Not very long, is it? Um, yeah, so, oh, okay, Biggle Bob. See the one you're talking about now. It's ugly, isn't it? Morganizer, the Fugly Princess was 75 to 78. Yeah, it really was. It really was. The rear view mirror was mounted on the dash. Huh. Didn't know that. Or didn't remember. I probably did when they were a new car. Barracuda, Richard Hammond on Top Gear smashed up a super tidy Allegro with a hammer. I wasn't impressed. No, I don't. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Barry. Just because even if it's a lot of people don't like them, if it's a nice car, it's a nice car, and it's still a part of automotive history. You could make it sound a little bit grand, but I mean, a nice one's a nice one. Why trash it? Why wreck it? There's not really a need to do that. But it probably got views. Morganizer, when they went to 81. Okay. Danny Boyd, hey man, welcome to the room. Good to have you here. Chris Freemeser, the 70s Princess front end kind of reminds me of some Italian cars of that vintage. Yeah, probably, yeah. Josh Homan, I wouldn't call it ugly, but odd for sure. So there you go. One man's ugly is another man's kind of cool. So, yeah, and it's all subjective. So, Danny Boyd, what do we got? Yeah, Biggle Bob, yeah. Yeah, for me, that princess is ugly. But yeah, but I do have some of the cars I like confused. Like, I mean, I'd have an AMC Pacer. I think they're kind of cool. Odd, but kind of cool. So it's all relative. Chris Freeman, so that's a good question. What cars from 75 would you consider good looking? 75. Well, there was a bunch of good looking cars, really. Yeah. Any of the 75 Aussie cars, they were all good looking cars. The Holden Monaros, the Falcons, 75s. 75, that would have been an XC Falcons. What great looking cars. Yeah, and then you move into the American stuff. 75, I kind of felt like the American stuff was losing its way a little bit for me. But yeah, Cutlass Supreme was a good looking car. And you find a nice one of those, good set of wheels, a little bit of stance, modifications, not really lowered, but just, like tweaking the stance a bit to suit some nice wheels. And very quickly you have a very good looking car. Eagle Bob, that's a very good description. The princess looks like it was trying to be a DeLorean for Halloween or something. Oh, yeah. Barry Cooter, wasn't there a 60s Nissan Princess? I think it was a Nissan. They were called a Prince Gloria, if I remember right. Yeah, I know the one you were thinking about, and I think it was taken over by Nissan around that time of the Prince Gloria or Princess Gloria. Could have been a Princess Gloria. Not really. My memory's fading a little bit. Tavo, yeah, Aussie Valiant Charger, exactly. Yeah, XB, Falcon. Nissan Prince, yeah. Josh Homan, Nissan Prince. Yeah, I thought it was a Prince. Yeah, mate, I mean, there was a lot of good cars in the 70s. Opel Manta and GT were badass in 75, yep. Yeah, Laguna. Tirana's. None of them were really bad. I don't think. Paul Funk saw a really nice Laguna S3 at the gas station. So what's a Laguna S3? Not familiar with that one. Danny Boyd, 76 is the last year of Lagunas. 73 or 4 was the first year. That was a short model run too then. Yeah, it'd be interesting to go back and look at some cars from like the mid 70s, like some of the Ferraris and Lambos and stuff. Were pretty wild in that era too. Some of the Italian stuff was pretty crazy. Laguna S3 equals NASCAR's model of the Colonnade Chevelle. Is that a typo? Stray Bullet. Can I see Stray Bullet's comment? Actually, no, I don't think I can. Why is that? Hang on here. So I'm just scrolling up here. No, I can't see Stray Bullet's comments. Yes, I saw Danny Boyd said, I see you, Stray Bullet. So what's that about? Why can I not see those? Pop's Mustang Shop, Pantera, yes. That was that's a gorgeous car. Countach, yep. Hang on. What am I? Okay. I'm set at top chat, not live chat. Okay, I just changed it. Well, that's weird. Why is it picking on Stray Bullet, I wonder? I'm sorry, Stray Bullet. I don't know why it was. There we go. He's back. Kiwi's either ignoring my question or he's not seeing all of my comments. Mate, I couldn't see them. I'm glad the rest of you guys kind of piped up there because, I just went up the top of the page and changed it to live chat. I hadn't changed it. I don't know whether it's always been like that or what. Now I have to go back up now and find what you are asking me. Stray Bullet, I ran out of New Zealand questions, so I had an American automotive history question tonight, Kiwi. Okay, cool. That's really weird. Oh, yeah, Stray Bullet, can you see me, Kiwi? No, and I couldn't. I can see it now. Stray Bullet, hello. Can anyone see my comment? Yeah, okay. That's weird. I mean, the rest of the guys in the room could see it, but I couldn't see a thing. So, but I can now, so it's all good. So the question on everyone's lips is what's the tricky question? What's the trivia question? Pontiac Le Mans, yep, that was good. Paul Funk, I'm not sure what an S3 was, but it may have had the swivel bucket seat. Oh, okay, wow. Stray Bullet, live chat or all chat. And I'm on live chat now, so it was set to top chat. And it could have been like that for I don't know how long. Switch to live chat to see all comments. That's the first I'm learning about that, guys. So I'm sorry. I don't know. Gosh, I don't know how many people I've been ignoring. If it's been like that for some time, I really don't. That's frustrating. Beagle Bob, I found it, but it has an option for all comments. Stray Bullet is filtered as spam. That's weird. The mysteries of YouTube. I don't know why it would have singled Stray Bullet out of spam. Huh. Jeff Hutchins, ran all my customers off. We'll see if I can hold them off for another 18 minutes until closing time. That's the spirit. Craig Nearing, hey, welcome along, man. Stray bullet, they're fucking me over. Oh dear. Yeah, that's weird. Did I? Oh, what do we got here? Paul Funk. Nice thing about living in the high desert of Colorado is that old cars don't rust if you don't drive them in the snow. Yeah, there's some nice cars up that way. Some little time capsules. Tavo, might be why you skipped over half my comments too. Mate, did I really? I try and catch them all, I really do. But my apologies if I did. I'm not sure what that's about. No. Jeff Hutchins, I had problems posting on live streams at all. Then it's fine 2 hours later. Weird. Yeah, I mean, YouTube does what YouTube does, and there's not much you can do about it. YouTube should reverse the default settings. Well, yeah. Chris Freeman said, top chat is the default. I always have to switch to live chat first thing. Well, mate, I'm going to remember that from now on. Well, lesson learned. There you go. Morganizer, I have a New Zealand question for you. Are you familiar with Smash Palace? Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Bruno Lawrence, the Mini. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the other actors. Who was the guy that drove? Oh, no, hang on. I'm thinking of Goodbye Pork Pie. That which is different to Smash Palace. But yes, no, I definitely remember Smash Palace. Set in the wrecking yard down there in the middle of the North Island. Bill Bob, I've been living with blinders on this whole time. Yeah, I feel it cost. Yeah, welcome to teenage daughters, brother. My twin daughters treat all my comments as spam. Yes, I can well imagine. Hansabar, I really appreciate what you and Uncle Tony do. What year was it when cars became impossible to maintain by the skilled user? 2003. Yeah, I guess it depends on how you quantify impossible. Probably the latest model thing I've worked on is like a 2015, and that's my daughter's Ford Fiesta. That's the only reason why I would work on something like that. But yeah, she's got a 15 Ford Fiesta, and I did a timing belt, and I've done various bits of maintenance on that car, and YouTube my way through it. To be honest, like I didn't know the ins and outs of doing a cam belt replacement on that, and yeah, YouTubed it. But yeah, certainly it didn't. As we hit the 2000s, it certainly didn't get easier. That's for sure. They definitely started making it more difficult. Danny Boyd, Laguna S3 was 73 to 76 Chevelle with a special aero front header, grille, and stripes, plus opera window louvers on later ones. Okay. And then there was, what year were those aero back ones where they stretched out the back window and kind of made like an odd fastback using just, a lengthened out piece of glass, which are quite sought after these days. Stray Bullet, what was the first mass-produced V8 overhead valve engine produced in America? Ooh, overhead valve. I'm going to say the Buick Nailhead. Would have been the Buick Nailhead. I know it wasn't Ford. I'm going to probably say Nailhead or maybe Mopar. But yeah, pretty good question. Danny Boyd, flathead Ford. Well, that's not an overhead valve, is it? If that's what you're answering, the previous question. Chavo, top chat filters comments and only shows what it thinks you want to see. That's some bullshit, isn't it? Jeff Hutchins, I'm still not seeing stray bullet comments. Yeah, up the top of the comments, just above the comments, you'll see the word top chat and with a little drop down arrow. If you click on that, it gives you live chat and another option. So go to live. If you can find that above the comments, depending what machine you're watching on, you might be able to find it there. Chris Freeman says to find mass-produced stray bullet. Yeah, well, that's true. Stray bullet, more than 500 units, Chris. Yeah, okay. So that's, not these weird aeroplane engines and shit like that they did. Without cheating and going to Google, I'm gonna put a $5 on the Buick. Yeah. It could have been. There was a few other manufacturers around, in that 50s, late 40s, early 50s. And that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. I'm taking a bit of a guess at Buick. Jeff Hutchins, it says live chat. Well, you should be right then, mate. You should be. Chris Freeman's a stray bullet. I want to say it was one of those lesser known brands like a Hudson or Studebaker or something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's the actual answer. Jeff Hutchins, got it figured out. It was on Top Chat. There you go. Yep, that's the trick. Well, that sucks that it actually filters out for you guys as well. I was thinking it was just me, but no, it's hitting all you guys. Huh. Well, we've all learned something tonight, haven't we? Right. Stray bullet overhead valve. Yep. Can't do much on my 2008 Transit without hooking it up to the laptop. Yeah, that's the problem. Danny Boyd, stray bullet. Oldsmobile. Yeah, Oldsmobile. Yeah, Oldsmobile had a V8 before the small block Chevy. It's funny, isn't it? Chevy's the most sought after, like the deemed to be the top of the heap. But it really wasn't. Chevrolet was actually bottom of General Motors lineup. You had Cadillac, Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, and then going down the list was right at the bottom was Chevrolet. Barracuda, I buy old car parts from that Smash Palace place sometimes. What's that actually called? It did have a name. It was a something. Yeah, gosh, I went there once, but man, I was about 18. It was literally a lifetime ago. I can't remember the name. CAN bus made it really tough for the shade tree mechanic, and Danny Boyd's can't bus. Yeah, well, there you go. 49 olds. Well, actually, Buick in 49 still had the straight 8. And I don't think the Buick's V8 came out till about 51, maybe 52. So, Danny Boyd, you could be right there. Jeff Hutchins, I think those fastbacks were NASCAR edition Monte Carlos. I think they were, yes, you're right. Paul Funk, aero cars were built in the middle 80s for NASCAR to compete with the T-Bird. Okay, mid 80s. Yep, that sounds right. Stray bullet, Cadillac 331. There you go. Nobody picked that. Danny Boyd, Buick was straight out till like 55. Really? No, I was way off. Okay. That's a fail for me, but oh well. I just like Buicks, so, Pontiac straight 8 till the mid-50s as well. Yeah, that sounds right. Straight bullet. Chevy built an overhead valve V8 in 1917, but it wasn't mass-produced. Isn't that weird? That's such a long time, such a lot earlier. And what happened? What happened to that engine? Did they just shelve it? Jeff Hutchins. Some truth to that, man. Just a bunch of old farts learning about technology together. There you go. Yeah, Danny Boyd. Then Chevy didn't have a V8 until 1955 after the early one. Yeah, it's a huge gap. Barry Horripedo Motors, that's it. Organiser Horripedo. Yeah, my dad would frequent the place. My dad had a panel beating shop in Waiouru. Okay, very cool. Paul Funk, my grandpa owned an early 50s Pontiac with a straight 8 in it. Yep. I had a 49 Buick, like a Rain Man Buick back in New Zealand, and that I imported from the States. Convertible, just like the one in Rain Man. Nowhere near as nice, but same model. And that had the 320 cubic inch overhead valve straight 8. Maybe that's why I was thinking Buick was ahead of the game. They had overhead valve, mass production overhead valve straight 8s pretty early compared to like Pontiacs and stuff like that and Oldsmobiles. That's probably where I got off track. Right, yeah, what do we got? Steve Sadusky, hey Kiwi, I got some pinholes in a small part of my roof panel on my Monte Carlo SS. Any ideas how I can fix it? The factory metal is really thin. Thinner than my 68 Chevelle. Tips appreciated. Mate, there's not an easy way, really. Pinholes. Well, obviously the easy way is to fill it, put some kind of a, you got to neutralize the rust, what's caused the pinhole, and then you can use some like fiberglass reinforced filler, which, I would probably put on the inside, spread a layer of that on the inside, like if you're trying to avoid welding it up, and it is just pinholes. But hit it with a wire wheel, and be aggressive with a wire wheel, and that will open the pinholes up to as big as they're going to be. The time you actually knock the edges of the pinhole off, with the rust, knock the rust scale off it. Sometimes those pinholes can be a little bit bigger. But yeah, a little bit of fiberglass reinforced filler on the inside. A little very thin skim on the outside, and bury it like that. But you will have to do a very good job of neutralizing the rust, like a rust encapsulator of some sort. I quite like the Eastwood one. And other than that, cut the section out and weld a new piece in. And depending how big an area it is, you might want to get a section out of an old, another roof. I wouldn't suggest a whole roof panel. That's a pretty big undertaking, unless the roof's really shot. But if it's just in a small part, is it going to be a vinyl top car, or is it going to be like painted top? Because obviously, if it's painted top, it's got to be nice and straight. But yeah, a small section out of a donor car is not a bad option, because then you've got the shape, the crown in it. If you don't have the equipment to actually beat a crown into a crown into a flat piece of metal to match the roof line. Josh Homan, I actually saw an old Dodge film from 1917 showing how they built their cars. Wow, that would be cool. Danny Boyd, Rainman Buicks were built where I grew up. Okay, how very cool. Very cool. Where was that, actually? I don't know where they were built, other than the US. Yeah. Craig Nearing, Hudson was a fascinating company that used to win many races. Yes, they were a fast car, but they were a straight eight. Well, no, they were a 6-cylinder, weren't they? Yeah, I actually had one drop by the shop once years ago, and it had the twin carbs on it, and it was a flathead 6, but it was a performer, in its day. They were quite quick cars. Hence Doc Hudson in the animated cars. But yeah, it was used to win many races. They still exist as the Dayton Hudson that own Target stores. The Dayton Hudson? What's that? Josh Homan, G-Body. Yes, they were pretty flimsy. Well, yeah. Barry Cooter, I spent a winter's night in Waihuru. Talk about cold. Yeah, that is a pretty cold spot. It's a little elevated, isn't it? Snow Crusher, 1949 Oldsmobile was a 331 cubic inch rocket which debuted in the Oldsmobile 98 and 88 model, same year as Caddy. Okay. Jeff Hutchins, duct tape the roof. I'm very helpful. Yes, aren't you just? Urkos, hard to believe that 70 Ford Mavericks and Pintos are 10 to 15K now. We used to have an endless supply of them for $600. Yeah, my buddy has a decent wood grain vinyl Pinto that he rents to Hollywood. Really? Huh. Good for him. Urkos, for background shots for $1,000 a day? Really? Wow. That's serious money. Wow. The Hudson had low centre of gravity, which made them handle well in NASCAR, low floors. I didn't know that. Josh Homan, the Hudson that built cars became part of AMC. Oh, that sounds about right, yeah. Danny Boyd, Dayton, Ohio, also home to Leo Gephardt, the father of the modern-day antique car auctions. Huh. And Tim Buck and Scott Sullivan, who both got cars into Hot Rod magazines. Oh, wow. Very cool. Very cool. Stray Bullet, the first generation Oldsmobile rocket engines came in 303, 324, 371, and 394 displacement engines. Yeah, that same block, had a big, with the same deck height and everything, wasn't it? They built a lot of engines with that block. Danny Wood, Clayton, Ohio. What did it spell check? You did it and put in Dayton. Clayton. Similar. Oh, Chris Freemish. VW buses going for 6 figures kind of blows my mind. Through the market for those, though the market for those is finally cooling off. Yeah, well, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that it would. But yeah, those 23 window or something weird like that, some number that I can never remember. The VW buses with the most windows in them. I had one come in, several years ago, and the guy was talking like it was worth $200K, and I'm like, okay. I'm not the man to ask about Volkswagens. I'm really not. But yeah, 6 figures for a vehicle that'll barely get out of its own way. They're so slow. They didn't do they didn't do much very well other than carry lots of hippies around. Yeah, that was their strength, wasn't it? Jeff Hutchins, duct tape. The ladies don't find you handsome, at least let them find you handy. Oh, goodness. 20 Chris Freeman, the 23 buses are the most, 23 window buses are the most valuable. I thought it was 23. Danny Boyd with those clear storyish windows up to think it's 20 windows. I think it's 20 windows. There you go. Paul Funk, the comedian Fluffy, has a few vintage VW buses. He's got, I quite like him. Gabriel and Glaciers, right? Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's pretty funny. But yeah, he likes his VWs, yeah. Bugs as well, I believe. Jeff Hutchins, we bought a Cherry 75 Maverick with 70 Ks on it, 250 straight six, C4, $600. Decent power, decent mileage, and indestructible. Those straight sixes they made, Ford and Chevy, were tremendous engines. Stray Bullet, 21 window buses have always been expensive and sought after. Yeah, for the longest time. Yeah. Mate, if you can't, people want what they can't have. Is really the quickest way to explain it. Is, you know, and that's why the lesser the number of them ever made, then the more people want them. Because yeah, that's just a human nature thing. We want things that other people don't have. Which, you know, that's where hot rodding came from, because people would make them their own, so they were different to everyone else's. Tavo, local valiants here are plummeting, really. Half-tidy driving APs VCVE can easily be found for well under 20K. Huh. So why do you think they're plummeting, Tavo? Just the guys that love them are dying off, or like what's going on? APs, that's early 60s, isn't it? VC, that's like 63, 4, 5 through to 7 era, isn't it? Wonder why they'd be plummeting. Is that an economy thing, or like what's going on? Craig Nearing, love my VW microbuses, still do, and I used to have a window van. Oh, very cool. Bet you wish you still had it. Chris Freemus, I like the 68 and newer bay window. Yeah, I know the one you mean. VW buses, but those are pretty spendy as well. They all are, mate, that era. Yeah. Yeah, that Westphalia was new to me when I got here to the States. You know, somebody said they had a Westphalia, and I'm like, what? What is a Westphalia? So yeah, I found out. Yeah. Paul Funk, VW had to use gear reduction boxes on the spindles so they would accelerate. Yeah, they were. They revved pretty hard, at like 50 mile an hour. I think was all they wrote. You know, all she wrote, really, wasn't it? They weren't 70 mile an hour interstate cruisers, were they? Craig Nearing, winter in Wisconsin, snowstorms buses were the best. Well, they had all that weight over the rear axle, didn't they? So yeah, they were a pretty decent option. Urkos, Thunderhead 39 has an indestructible V8 Maverick that won't die. There you go. Luke is the creator of Carb Cheater, a very good electronic add-on to tune carbs using an airflow. Oh, no, AF sensor. Yep. I've heard about that Carb Cheater thing. I really don't know anything. Oh, I grasp the concept of it. I've not even laid eyes on one, let alone worked on one. Chris Freemus, a fun fact, VW made the 23 window for sightseeing while driving through the Alps. It makes perfect sense. Tavo, I think it's the economy in general. Toys are falling down the priority ladder. It is happening a little bit here too, to be honest with you. It is. The really primo stuff, the truly rare stuff is hanging in there. But here I would say the stuff, 30, 40K stuff is kind of struggling a little bit for buyers, you know. It's a buyer's market, shall we say. Granddad's Junk, how are you, man? You come in from milling Remu for a while, have you, to watch the show? Jeff Hutchins, being a Mopar man and straight six lover, you'd think I'd love slant sixes. I don't. Underpowered, and they share rod journal. They share rod journals. Turns me off. Don't really like GMs with. Yeah, but slant sixes were kind of like the Ford and Chevys, and they just went and went and went. They had their shortcomings, but they yeah, as you say, they're underpowered, but like the 200 Ford Falcon engine, like not a lot of power, but they went and went and went, and you really couldn't break them. So I guess it depends what you put a value on. Josh Homans, that is good. Classic car prices have gone insane. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the price of restoring them has gone insane. I think that's what's driven the price of a lot of them up. And I think there's a little bit of a case situation of them having priced themselves out of the market now. People do like a toy and they like to play, but there's a budget. Like people don't want to spend. More people. There's less people that are prepared to spend 60 grand on a toy than there was. Well, maybe not less, but there was people around to spend 20, 30 grand. And when I first opened up the shop, 40 grand would restore you a Mustang like nicely. You won't now. You've got to double that. Honestly, like you're not going to get any. Like drop it off, come back, and however long it takes, and pick it up. Not doing anything yourself, but just paying someone to do it. You're going to spend 80 grand easy, unless you've got a super good one that doesn't need mechanical work and stuff like that. But ultimately, everyone's always upgrading them and messing around with them, and suddenly you run up to 80 grand pretty darn quick. Matt Kennedy in the 80s bought a 69 Bug for $50, engine swap, and then when that blew a few years later, sold it for 300. Those were the days, weren't they? You could just have own a car for 5 to 10 years and it really not cost you much at all, and if anything, make you a few bucks, as well as giving you good service. Ford 170 to 250 L6 uses integral intake manifolds too. Yeah, certainly not good for performance, but they were great for mass production. It enabled them to have a pretty cheap engine, to produce. So then they could, sell a fairly cheap car. Dr. Art's in the room. Hot Rod Rehab. Shortened up that name, Art, just a little bit. Are you getting that new channel rocking and rolling again now? Chris Freemaster, Granddad's Junk. Chat is using usernames to. Okay. Huh. I did notice that what was the name you used to appear under? It's kind of, this is like the third change, I think, from memory for you, isn't it, Chris? Jeff Hutchins, Danny Board, never noticed that in the Ford 250 I had, never had to work on it. There you go. See, that's why they were a good engine, not because they made a ton of horsepower, but you never had to work on them. Craig Nearing had 5 buses. My 71 was a hot rod, twin carb, overboard, mild cam, and would do 70 flat out and 80 with a breeze behind you. And that was a hot rod. Wow. Granddad's Jung, I got the log back on the mill. It rolled off. Man, I was knackered getting it on. I'll bet. It's a big ass log. Hansabar. The question is, what's the value after restoration? Yeah, well, I tell you what. I mean, paying someone to restore a car is not how you make money. That's a way to spend money. That's for sure. If you want to, do it a bit cheaper, buy one that's been done. Let someone else spend the money, but you just got to make sure you're getting one from a good shop. That's all. Because there's a lot of subpar restorations around that look good, but they're subpar. Jeff Hutchins, love Cummins, Ford 300, AMC Jeep Chrysler straight sixes. Decent power stock. All will go crazy with upgrades. They're saying that six-cylinder Chevy engine, that like the Colorados and some of the Trailblazers and stuff like that, they made a 4, 5, and a 6-cylinder one, same like a modular engine, and they're making huge horsepower out of those. They're comparing them a lot to the Australian Barra Ford engines, but yeah, it's a twin cam, 4-valve per cylinder, variable cam timing, all that stuff, aluminum block, and they're making some, there's like 1,000 horsepower with them. You got to throw some big ass turbos at them to get that, but they're living with it. So yeah, the straight six is not all bad. Okay, so Chris Freemercy had some title issues with the car. Okay, that's unfortunate, but yeah, obviously there's a little bit more going on behind the scenes there. But Chris Freemercy, yeah, it wouldn't be quite so bad if he was keeping me updated on the progress. But that's not really happening, unfortunately. Oh, that's no good, man. Craig Nearing, has anyone used fluid film as a undercarriage coating? I am not familiar with the product, sir. Fluid film. No. Eagle Bob, was it Lower Man Vintage Garage? Okay. Something I'm not aware of going on here. Chris Freemasson, Craig Nearing. Yes, I fluid fill my cars annually. Okay, I'm not familiar with the product. Urkos, 2 Vintage has a great channel. He gets vintage motorcycles going in hour-long videos. Great bite-sized projects that don't cost a lot and overwhelm. Lot to be said for that. Snow Crusher, 35 years ago, B&J auctions used to be full of Cords, Auburns, and Duesenbergs Model Ts. And as now it's all muscle car because boomers now, the grey-haired demographic with money. Yeah. That's a pretty accurate summation, sir. Yeah. So the guys our age, my age, reliving their youth a little bit. Have a love affair with those 60s, 70s muscle cars. Grandad's Junk, this log is for your piece for the dash. It's clear, no knots, should be beautiful grain. Awesome. Cool, man. That's great. I'll have to shoot over to your channel and have a look, see what you're up to. Jeff Hutchins, the 4.2 GM straight 6 is crazy in potential. Is that the one that I'm talking about, that modular engine, the twin cam 4-valve? The 4.2, because what was it, a 2.5 4-cylinder, 3.7, and then, 4.2. Yeah, I think that's the engine I'm talking about. Atlas 6 and the Trailblazers. That's it. Atlas, yep. Snow Crusher, straight 6 Hemi. Very good engine too. Very good engine. They can make some serious power. Hansabar, Volvo made a straight 6. Okay. Paul Funk, YouTuber Eric O in New York uses fluid film and won't use undercoating. Here we go. Chris Freemus. A fluid film is a flexible lanolin-based rust-proofing coating. Has a consistency of maple syrup. Works great to prevent underbody rust, but must be reapplied annually. That sounds. We had a product back in New Zealand, and I don't know whether it was available elsewhere, but it was called fish oil, and it was pretty much as the name implies. It was some fish oil, literally fish oil based product with this, that, and the other added, which had great creeping qualities. Fortunately, it didn't make your car smell a little bit like fish for a while. It faded away in a week or so. But yeah, a lot of old guys. And now, when I say old guys, when I was a young guy, it was the old guys that were swore by it. But yeah, you've got to reapply it all the time, like it. But that's the beauty of it, in that it doesn't set, and it won't chip off later, and allow. With some of the hard undercoatings, the water gets in behind it and gets trapped, so that's a problem. But yeah, that fish oil and this lanolin-based rust proofing sounds a little similar, and you got to redo it every year. Chavo, I fit that demographic, but I have to build mine mostly with used parts. I hear you. Barracuda sheep oil? Really? I haven't heard of sheep oil. But they're oily enough. The sheep skins, the sheep's wool has got a lot of oil in it. So I'm not sure whether that's a real thing or whether you're just being a smart ass. Tavo, car smelled like a fish and chip shop. Yeah, fish and chip shop. It didn't smell like a fish and chip shop. It smelled like a fish and chip shop. For those of you that aren't picking up on, Tavo's making fun of my Kiwi accent but the reality is the Australians are the ones that talk funny. Craig Nearing, if you have a compressor, you can buy a kit with a spray gun and all of the accessories you need to apply it. Interesting. Fisherline. Granddad's Jump. Yes, Fisherline. Fish oil. David Tyree, Fisherline. Yep. And it did smell like fish, didn't it? Chris Freeman, yeah, fluid film makes your car smell like wet wool for a week or two afterwards, but the stuff works great. And I tell you what, up where you are, Chris, your option is just watching the car, return to Mother Nature in just a few years, isn't it? Like wet wool. Yeah, that's a smell all of its own, isn't it? Wet wool. Peel Bob, my Power Stroke had pretty good rust proofing, self-oiling undercarriage. Yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing, Beagle Bob. You're right, but it doesn't. They don't typically leak into the doors and inside the rear quarters and stuff like that. But yeah, anywhere it hits, it doesn't tend to rust. So lanolin, Snow Crusher, lanolin is sheep oil, right? Barracuda's saying the same thing. David Torrey, fish oil is still available. Wow. $40 for 2 litres. So 2 litres, half a gallon. And that's $40 New Zealand dollars, I guess. Chris Freemish, if you buy it by the gallon, yes, I got the kit from a different vendor. There you go. Jeff Hutchins, I remember watching a guy from Canada talking about his customers' cars' undercarriage being well oiled. I thought he was joking about leaks, but no, that's when I learned it's a thing. Yeah. A lot of like old guys would just use used engine oil and thin it down a bit with diesel, I believe, and blast that everywhere. It's just doesn't have a lot of longevity. Like 12 months is kind of it. You got to do it But I mean, the beauty of it, I mean, it's not a terrible way to recycle oil. I guess it all ultimately ends up dropping on the road over a lot longer time. But having a car rust away due to salt is not great for the environment either. The part of the blueprint, the footprint. Sorry, not blueprint. The footprint of cars that they talk about. Is part of that is made up of the longevity of the car. So if the car's done in 6 years due to rust, then that's not good for the environment either. And I would venture to say that it's worse than dropping a gallon of used oil on the road over a 12-month period. It slowly washes off over a 12-month period. And a gallon over 12 months is, I guess it's enough, but yeah. Yeah, what else we got here? Jeff Hutchins, Landlord Sheep Oil, yep. Jim K7882. Okay, hi Kiwi. If you had a 67 Chevelle with a 327 in it, would you redo it or replace it with an LS? I heard the old school motors were more torquey. Thoughts on bang for the buck? Oi, yeah, that's an interesting question, and there's a lot of variables in there. Gosh, yeah, that's a long answer. In all honesty, just sort of start at the start. Is it a 327 car? Like, did that car come out with a 327? If it did, that would go in the, if you're going for and against, that would go in the for column. 67 Chevelle with a factory 327 has a cool factor. Fantastic. One of the best engines Chevy ever made was a 327. Cost of redoing it is probably a little higher than an LS. But you've already got the engine, so you don't have to go out and buy a used LS. The LS is ultimately will cost you more because you're going to have to set up the fuel system, the electronics, possibly, fly-by-wire accelerator pedal and stuff like that, depending what setup of LS you get. And also, like, resale value. Are you doing this for yourself, or are you doing it, with a view to selling it as soon as you've done it in 12 months, in 2 years? Selling these muscle cars with an LS it's easier to sell them set up with an LS than it is with a small block. Not everybody sees the value, in an old school small block. Some do, some don't, but probably more don't realistically. But if it was me, honestly, I would, and I was going to keep the car, I would go with the 327. Now, not everyone's going to agree with me. I'll tell you that before the comments even start dropping. Not everyone's going to agree with me. The LS is a fantastic engine. Fantastic engine. You can have quite a lot of horsepower. I don't know that either one is more torquey than the other particularly. The LS is, computerized fuel injected LS is going to give you better fuel mileage. It's going to give you better drivability, better cold start drivability. There's a lot of pluses for it. But yeah, it is going to cost you some more money. And but yeah, it depends a little bit where your budget's at. You've got to remount. There's probably engine mounts made, for the LS to go straight onto the small block mounts. It's going to be relatively easy. But you've got headers to buy if you don't have manifolds on it. There's a few things to do to switch it to an LS. A lot of people get caught in the, I can buy an LS for a good one for $3 or $4 grand, and it's going to cost me that much to redo my 327. But the LS, that's the start. You've then got to get the fuel system, the high pressure fuel lines, the fuel line returns, as I say, the accelerator. There's all the electronics that go with it. And if you're at the mercy of a shop, to do all the wiring and make that LS work, that's going to cost you some money. So that's sort of my thoughts on it. If it was me, I'd probably be keeping it, and I'd probably go, with a healthy 327. Pretty cool little engine, and becoming quite valuable. They're fairly scarce now. A true 327. They're fairly scarce, and they're getting a bit sought after because they're not many around anymore. Craig Nearing, need to do this to my RX 350. Yeah, you probably do, mate. You probably do. Chris Freeman's heating a shop with an oil burner fueled by used engine oil is a thing around here. It is here too, a little bit. I know there's a couple of shops around that have them. End of time, spray oil is a big thing on tow trucks in Canada because of the salt. Yeah, well, they're on the road like 24/7, aren't they? So, yeah, they'd just freaking evaporate in front of your eyes with all the salt, wouldn't they? And the amount of time of each year that you have salt on the roads. Like here in Nashville, the roads get salted a couple of times a year, for a few days, and that's it. A little bit different up there in Canadian land. Danny Boyd, I'd go big block before I'd go LS. There you go. Hard to argue that one too, Danny. That's the thing. Absolutely, it is. There's still a huge fan base for big blocks, old school big blocks. People go, every time, and like it's pretty universal. There's not. I've never seen anyone go, oh, shame it's not a small block. I've never heard that comment ever. So yeah, the big blocks have a kind of legendary, aren't they? More so than the Fords, that's for sure. Because people don't go, ooh, a 390. They might go, oh, it's a 428, but they don't fuss over a 390, and especially not a 360, FE. So yeah, the Chevy big block is, it's coveted. Really, Jeff Hutchins, recycle my oil, ATF, old gas, well diluted gas, gear oil, etc., by burning it in my Massey Ferguson tracks and old Ford diesel as fuel. Really? Huh? So you can brew all that, like make a brew of it and make it work. Oh, that's interesting. Good for you, man. That's very, very green of you, sir. Although I bet you the diesel doesn't have a particulate filter on it, does it? Not on a Massey Ferguson tractor, no, I wouldn't think so. But still, it's better than dumping it in the landfill, mate. That's for sure. Air cost. I was a Ford dealer mechanic in the summer of 1980. Yeah. They offered some aftermarket rust protection that was just squirted under the car on a lift. Could not have done much, but expensive. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's always somebody, there's, been various rust proofing companies like that. I remember, back in New Zealand, there was a big one, very popular one called Tectyl, like Tectyl. And then there was another one that kind of faded out of popularity, and then another one stepped in. It was same shit, different label. It was called Ferrotect. And then it kind of just, it just faded away into oblivion, especially in New Zealand, because they just don't salt roads in New Zealand. The rust was an issue in the 70s and 80s just because the cars weren't well rust protected. And then you hit the 90s and 2000s and the cars last pretty well. Unless you throw salt at them. Then like nothing protects a car from salt really, other than maybe, oiling it, dousing it down once a year, with this fish oil or sheep oil or whatever, yeah. Let's see. Barracuda. When I used to paint custom wood shop fittings with Juco lacquer, sometimes I put a drop or two of lanolin oil in it to prevent fish eyes. Really? Wow. That lanolin oil would prevent fish eyes. I'm thinking it would cause it. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. There you go. Snow Crusher, Musty One makes a concoction of, he's a YouTuber, presumably, makes a concoction of chainsaw bar oil and beeswax and sprays it on undercarriages. Actually, the chainsaw bar oil is not a bad idea, isn't it? Because it's very sticky. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Barracuda, I know that sounds weird, but it worked. Well, Andy Nichols in the house. Welcome along, bud. Good to have you here. Well, I'm wondering because there's this. You can buy spray gun oil, can't you? Like for oiling your spray gun, and it's a special oil that doesn't. Obviously, you can't use silicon or anything like that anywhere near a spray gun or a car that's getting, going to be painted. Silicon's terrible. But yeah, there was an oil you could buy that was made for spray guns for lubing them up, because spray guns need to be lubricated, the moving parts. But it didn't bother the paint. So I wonder, you saying that now, I wonder if that was a lanolin based. Shut up the page. Do. Here we go. Sorry, found my spot again. Chris Freemasson, Snow Crusher, he likes to melt wax toilet gasket into the oil. Wax, yeah. Well, that's what they make it out of, yeah. Urkos, no, not Rusty Jones. I googled but found nothing. This was South Carolina. There you go. Snow Crusher wax toilet gasket is beeswax. Yeah. Barracuda, can you put a carburetor on an LS? Yes, you can. It's been done many times. Many times. David Tyree, I can remember when they used to spray oil on gravel roads to keep the dust down. Yeah, actually, I can too. Yeah, that was a thing. They did that in New Zealand, yeah. Jeff Hutchins, if you get that toilet wax ring on something, good luck getting it off. I can see that being melted into an undercoating. Yeah, yep. Danny Boyd, I'd rather have a 327 than an LS. You can always put the LS heads on the 327 short block, I think. Yeah, people have messed around doing that. It just seems a lot of work when you can just put the LS heads on an LS block without having to get specialty intakes and mess around, stuff like that. But some people just like to do things because it's a bit different and a bit hard, and I guess I'm guilty of doing that in my own way. But yeah, the LS heads on a early small block doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I'm not a Chevy guy either, so what do you probably don't listen to me. Andy Nickel got hung up on South Main Auto with new charger that just quits randomly. No codes, no indications. Not often Eric can't find the problem. Yes. Well, yeah, you talk about electronic problems. The Audi just decided that the passenger window would wind down the other day, and you'd wind it up and it would wind straight down again, and you'd wind it up and go straight down again. Eventually got it to stay up, but yeah, it's just decided a mind of its own. Yeah, really quite weird. And then it'll not do it for 3 or 4 times of opening the door, and then you shut the door and it just winds down. Quite strange. So yeah, electronics. Unfortunately, it's under warranty, so it's not my problem. It'll be going back to Audi, and they can do their Audi magic and carry on. But yeah, those electric things that just do random shit, because you know damn well that when I take it into Audi, the window will work perfectly. But it's not. And it took me 10 minutes to get it to stay up, and I ended up, if I tapped the up button on the window like for less than a second, just tap it, tap, it would go up about half an inch at a time, and that was the only way I could get it to stay up. Just creep it up there, and eventually it stayed up. I mean, that wasn't some clever trick that I knew. I was just trying anything and everything, and I just tapped it up a little bit, because if you tapped it and it started going up automatically, it would go all the way up and just come down again. So yeah, something weird going on, but it's above my pay grade, I'm afraid. Craig Nearing, I saw 2 327s in a boat for sale on Craigslist. Yeah, they put a lot of them in boats. They put a lot of them in. Good engines. End of time, 327 is a great engine. Yep. Danny Boyd, that's a good point. One of those Marine 327s was probably reverse rotation. Yeah, probably was. I've heard stories, and I don't know whether it's urban legend, you guys might be able to confirm, but apparently after the war, World War II, they were selling a lot of, Army surplus, and they were selling Cadillac V8s that were in the tanks, and they would have 2 of them in the tanks, but they were reversed. One of them, when they got a left or a right engine, was reverse rotation. And urban legend or urban myth has it that some guys would put these Cadillac engines in their hot rod and have 4 reverse gears and 1 forward. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I mean, it sounds feasible. But yeah, because you wouldn't really know looking at it. Well, you wouldn't know looking at it whether it was a reverse rotation or not, unless it had something written on it. Yeah. But that would have confused the shit out of you, wouldn't it? If you jump in your old 32 Ford or something, that you just put this Cadillac V8 in it and stick it in first and you shoot off backwards. That would be weird. Barry Cooter, I like to see a carbon air cleaner on a V8. Yep. Can't disagree with you there, man. Jeff Hutchins, I'm the odd man out. I'd rather have a Stroker 383 than a big block Chev. Yeah, arguably probably more power than a lot of the big blocks. The big blocks weren't actually that. They were a good engine. They weren't as technically they weren't as good as the small block. They never really developed. They've got a lot as many decades have gone by, but like the 327s. The small block Chevy, I should say, sorry, not 327. The small block Chevy responded very well to modifications. It was a very easy engine to get extra horsepower out of it. The big block Chevy did not respond so well. It was all in the design of the cylinder head. They did not respond as well to being like big cams and stuff like that. But the 383 was a little screamer. Tavo, we're impoverished down here. I'd just like a 318 and a 904, but finding an affordable one. There you go. Chris Freeman said, I'd be happy. With a slant 6 and an A body, my needs are modest. There you go. Beagle Bob, Tectal makes corrosion treatment still. I did not know that. They kind of went out of fashion in New Zealand. Like they just died away. So obviously that wasn't a worldwide thing. Right. Poor funk. Eric O charger will probably come down to voltage drop somewhere or a loss of connection between the modules. Yeah. Sounds feasible. I'm not going to say, oh yes, I think that'd be right, because I'm just bullshitting. I don't know what would be doing that. Jeff Hutchins, I dilute that waste oil 50-50 with diesel. Got to filter it well. I cut the bottom out of one of the 55-gallon barrels, turned it upside down on another to use it as a funnel into the bottom one. There you go. Put A, where's the next comment? Must be still tidy. Shut down the page again. Good Lord. There you go. Hang on. There we go. Anyone know a company that makes long tube headers for a Dodge 1500 with a Magna V8? No. Sorry, old, fat and tired. I do not know, but Google is going to be your friend there. Summit Racing, Jigs. Urcos wax oil was the stuff we used at Palmetto Ford in Charleston, South Carolina. Isn't that a cool name? I think that's a cool name, Charleston, South Carolina. Anyway. Tavo, that's something nasty people did down here. Go visit a spray shop with silicon wax rubbed into clothing and accidentally brush against cars. Oh, that's a dirty trick. That's nasty. Yeah, because you really can't tell it's there until you start putting the clear coat on. Tavo, can't get that close now. Things have changed indeed. Yes, they have. The thing with using something like fluid film is you don't want to wait until November to December to apply it. You want it to still be warm outside so it has time to creep into the cavities. That's a good point. Tavo, they still do spray dirt roads with oil out my way. Huh. Danny Boyd, my rusty old Capri Black Magic had a Rusty Jones sticker on one of the quarter windows. Huh. So what sort of Capri was that, Danny Boyd? Was that the Mustang, American Mustang Capri, or was that was that like a English Ford Capri or European Ford Capri? Oh, Jeff Hutchins, there's the rest of your story. Short pipe nipple in between to connect them. Filled the upper barrel with old T-shirts and sweatshirts as a filter medium. Put a regular hose barb about 8 inches up from the bottom of the lower barrel. Wow. I guess once you got all that set up, it's pretty straightforward. Beagle Bob, I remember seeing a guy cut and weld 2 LS heads together for a Ford straight 300 straight 6. Seriously? Wow. That's pretty trick. That's not an easy thing to do, weld a cylinder head together. Wow. Danny Boyd, reset the power windows. Mate, I don't know how you reset the power windows. That's yeah, I don't know. Is that something, is that a thing? Beagle Bob, time to sell the Audi. Nah, mate, no. Maybe the Audi just needs to be rebooted. Oh, honestly, we tried turning it off, shutting it down, locking it up, like giving it 30 seconds or a minute. And yeah, it took a while to get the damn window to stay up. Yeah, so yeah, I really haven't looked into it any deeper, but yeah, just going to bang it back to Audi and say, hey, fix it. It's under warranty, so why waste an hour of my time messing with it? Really, I messed as much as I did because we were out, like 100 miles from home. Jeff Hutchins lets anything that gets through the filter quotation mark, settle out in the lower barrel above the outlet. There you go. Oh, here we go. Barry Cooter, I had a dream about you last week, Kiwi. Okay. Not sure how to take that, but yeah, hopefully it was automotive related. Tavo, that's a big problem with CAN bus analog wiring for things like Windows. Works just fine. No need to complicate it. Analog wiring for things like Windows. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, they all run little tiny wires and relays and God knows what. But the Audi windows are also those windows that drop down, like to open the door because they're the frameless. So yeah, they're a sensitive little setup. That like so much modern cars now, they works perfect. Works great when it's working. When it doesn't work, they're a little complicated. Barry Cooter, what did you dream about, mate? Danny Boyd cannabis. Fireflies in the room. Look at that. Pokes the CAN bus wiring with a stick. What, to check if it's cannabis? That sounds more likely. Chris Freemason, sounds like the anti-pinch sensor in the window is malfunctioning. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. And we tried helping it up, like to take a little bit of the, obviously if they feel too much resistance, they'll go back down. But I tried helping it up, and that didn't change a thing. But yeah, what was weird was like, we got it up and it was stayed up, and we drove, I don't know, an hour somewhere else. We were going at the weekend and got out, window was up, shut the door, and the window just went down. So it was already up at that point. It wasn't pinching, it was already up, and then something just told it to go down. Jeff Hutchins, my dad has an automotive machine shop. A customer from Alaska brought him a twin 340s out of his boat. Wow. He had them rebuilt once before up there. Dad went to tear them down, and they are now two 318s. Oh, man, that sucks. So someone took the 340s and switched them out with 318s. That's shitty. Jim K, Kiwi, another engine question. 1965 Mustang Fastback. Build the 289, stroke it, or go with a 351 Windsor. Thoughts if it were your car? Trouble with the 351 Windsor is it's taller, so you're going to have trouble keeping the car, the air cleaner under the hood. So that's a factor because they're an inch and a bit taller, and then you add a any kind of aftermarket intake on it, and you're going to need a hood scoop, to clear the taller the 351. If it was me, I would go with a stroking out the 289. You can, without any visual changes to the outside of it, you can stroke it out to 331. You can go 347. I personally think the 331's a better rod ratio. and it's a happier engine. I've driven both 347s and 331s, and yeah, I would go for the 331 without any hesitation. But yeah, the 289 is very easy to stroke out to 331, and nobody can tell. It just goes a lot better, That's what I'd do. Danny Boyd, 351 Cleveland will bolt into pretty big in a 65. That's a big engine in a 65. But yeah, heavy engine, the 351 Cleveland. I'd honestly go with the 331 Windsor. Keep it short, keep it easy to fit. You got room for headers. Remember, the engine bay in a Mustang with the shock towers in place is not a lot of room. There's not a lot of room. So yeah, the small Windsor, straightened out a bit. Like you're almost at 331. You're only 20 cubic inches away, and you've got an engine that actually fits nicely in the engine bay, and just a bit easier to work on and that kind of thing. You'd have to modify the shock towers to get a Cleveland in. Shit. How's that? Am I back? You were buffering. I lost you for a minute there, but I picked it up pretty quickly this time. Hopefully you can hear me. Where was I up to? That's the trick question. We are running out of time pretty rapidly, so I probably might just have to pick up the last few. Those that I missed, I'm sorry, mate. Danny Boyd, put the window down all the way. When it stops, keep the button held down for 2 more seconds. Put the window up, and when it stops, keep the button up for 2 more seconds. Do each window. Huh. Okay. Most power window sensing is done based on current draw. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Power windows going up and down, like tripping and going back down is not uncommon. The Audi's is like that, but slightly different in that it just decides it's already up and has been for an hour, and then just decides to go down, just randomly go down it goes. It's like, who did that? Snow Crusher saw a video of someone welding together Cleveland heads for a 306. Oh, good Lord. They'd be cast iron heads. That'd be a trick. Chris Freemason. Hey, you're throwing shade at my car. A German car with electrical issues. I'm, wait for it, shocked. Well, yes. I don't have much to say in my defence on that one, Chris. I'm sorry, but what's he gonna do? It's a thing. Hey, better than Italian cars, to be fair. I mean, maybe not great, but better than Italian. And that, team, is the end of my bourbon, and we've come to the end of our time. Danny Boyd, my 81 Capri was a Fox body, as was my 84 RS 5 litre. Yeah, I like those Fox body Capris. They're cool. The treatment they did, those sort of boxed out fenders, was awesome. Very BMW M3-ish, the early M3s. If I was going to get a Fox body, it would be a Mercury Capri. Andy Nickel, I had a guitar refinish that was just covered with fish eyes. Tried everything, including scraping the finish and an alcohol wash, fish eye remover, etc. Finally had to do a couple of dry spray coats. Tell you a little tip that Kevin Tates gave me was using a really good glass cleaner. As part of your cleaning prep, because it's not like a mineral solvent like the
like the wax and grease remover that we tend to use. And you use that and then clean it down with a good window cleaner. And that solved quite a bit of our fish eye. Barry, when he was working for me, was having some trouble with fish eyes, and that helped quite a bit. Granddad's Jake, what's happened to your moderator, the dude? I don't know. We haven't seen him for a few weeks. I'm not sure where the dude's gone to. I think he might have. I didn't get up to his car show that he wanted me to come up to, and I'm not sure whether he got frustrated by that. I'm not sure, but he's dropped off the radar a little bit. But who knows? Things happen in people's lives, and you just never know. Chris Freemesser, would a wash coat of de-waxed shellac help with that? Don't know. Volfly sounds like the window. Are you talking about the Audi? Shit, it's only 3 years old. Not even 2.5 years old. And why would it just go down randomly? Because it's not when it's parked and up, it's not drawing any current amps, whatever. That's if you're talking about my one and not one of the other guys that was having the problem. Not sure. Jeff Hutchins, Volflies, where's my promise? Where's my promised sausage? Still angrily waiting for at least a month. Well, yes, Volfly's probably keeping his sausage to himself, but Jeff Hutchins, Volfly, so you put my sausage on your pizza. Oh, dear me. Someone coming in and reading this cold would be wondering what the heck was going on. Barracuda, I fell asleep listening to you. Then I was working for you in a panel shop in Dunedin. None of my workmates liked me, and one of them was Gene Wilder. Oh my God, what had you been smoking? That's bordering on a nightmare, man. Right, where are we at? We're almost out of comments. Barracuda, Granddad's junk. Barracuda, sounds like you need to ease up on that LSD. Oh my God. Craig Nearing, well, gents, I'm going to bow out and say goodnight. It goes for you as well, Kiwi. Chavo, who else see the secret? Hopefully you're not still seeing it. Hopefully we've got past that. I think I got back on pretty quick. Volfly, random down on the windows. Yeah, weird. Yeah, it is a bit weird. Cost not Windows, but it's okay when some things go down randomly. Says the father of 2 teenage twin daughters. Interesting. Yes. Well, you know what they say about twins, Urkost. Like, oh well, let's not go there. Like computers and blondes, that's when you find their true value. That's funny because it's true. Very good, Tavo. Well said. Well said. Did Gene Wilder ever do auto bodywork? Oh my goodness. Fun night. Yes, got to go. Daughters are calling. Yeah, I bet they are. Hopefully they're not watching this last bit. Yeah. Danny Boyd, my cars will make you think that Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles do body work. Goodness me. All right, guys, I got to go. To bed. I was up, obscenely early this morning. but it was for a good cause. So, and yes, as usual, fun night, quite a few laughs, a few crazy bits of information, which is pretty typical. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate all your input. Hit that like button on your way out, and I guess I'll see you next week. So same place, same channel, and I'm sure some completely different random subject. Yeah. So look after yourselves, work on your cars, and enjoy the rest of your day. For you Aussies and Kiwis watching, and for the Americans, it's time for bed, guys. Well, that's for me. So, all right, fellas, I will see you next week. Take care.